I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to another night of iRacing action on the National Racing Network. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We are proud to once again be bringing you live coverage of the Sim Racers Club. Coming to you from Richmond Raceway, Richmond, Virginia. The notes I have here from my color commentator tonight, Patrick Byrne, are outstanding. Originally opened in 1946 as the Atlantic Rural Exposition Fairgrounds. Got a big old conversion in 1988 after the February race there. I can remember as a kid Richard Petty digging the first thing of dirt, first thing of asphalt out of the old Richmond Speedway. Now a 3/4 mile racetrack, 14 degrees of banking in the corners, 8 on the front stretch, 2 on the back stretch, and a start-finish line that's not in the middle of the racetrack. But let's bring in the color guy for this evening, Patrick Byrne. What's going on, Bizzle? Did you enjoy the birthday last week?
I did. I enjoyed sitting back watching the broadcast with probably my 16th beer in my hand. It was pretty fantastic. And Johnny Avila, he was commentating at the end. After the show ended, I hopped in, and he challenged me to start drinking margaritas during the race. I forgot to buy tequila. I didn't even pick up like a Bud Light margarita or anything like that. But I did reverse the challenge on him, and I told him he has to start the race after doing a bunch of tequila shots. So we will see if his performance tonight reflects if he actually took up the bet or not.
Well, possibly. He's only 10th in practice here. 22.514, the quick lap time for Johnny Avila, and a 22.16 in practice for Will Worsler. Tonight's race is going to be... I forget how many laps it is, actually. Let me pull up the schedule here.
It's 175. It's in the
175. Oh, there you go. 175 laps tonight. It's in the notes I wrote you. Oh, that's awesome. A couple of stage breaks will be coming up tonight at lap 40 and lap number 90. However, only one of those will have a caution flag. Possibly one of those will have a caution flag. We could also have a race that goes all the way through. However, Patrick, the last time we're here, this race was pretty caution heavy, I guess we could say.
Yeah, it was uncharacteristic for these guys, but you can't blame them. This was, I believe, the second or third race they had with the NextGen car. Actually, I believe it was the second, with the first being Daytona. And it was the first season the NextGen car came out. It still had some quirks and bugs that had to be sorted out with it, and everyone was experiencing that. I believe we had every single car in the field spin going into turn one. But these guys have had a lot of practice with these cars. We're halfway through this year's season so far, and it seems like they've got it pretty down. Kevin Dick almost hitting the wall there, but still, it doesn't seem like they're having the random spin-out issue they were having last season.
No, the car has changed significantly since we were here last time. And quite frankly, I mean, last time we were here, I think was the night Will Worsler told us he hates these things. And he has really come on strong. The end of the spring season and kicking off the fall season pretty strong a week ago as well. Absolutely incredible finish as Kevin Dick goes to the top of the charts at a 23:096. See what Andrew Moore can do. He goes quick time, 22.849 seconds. All these guys now going to be working lap number 2, however. We should see the pace pick up a little bit. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting race to say the least. If it's anything like last time, it's going to be absolutely insane as Kevin Dick goes quick time, 22:331. Andrew Moore Jr., lap number 2, improves, but not enough. We'll pick up Colton Harvey and Brad Allison out here. Oh, hold on to it, Colton Harvey. The Ron John Surf Shop, number 36, is all out of shape. That wave took him for a big old ride off at turn number 2. Tell you what, though, Harvey, third quick. Well, now fifth quick.
That was an interesting slide to me. Usually you get loose here at Richmond entering the corners. You get loose on that D section of track, the front stretch, whether it be exiting 4 or entering 1. Usually the car just wants to push straight into the wall, and it's very understeery coming out of 2 and into 3.
Still, Kevin Dick, your quick timer at a 22:331. Troy Haight up to second quick. You see him there on the right-hand side of your screen. Will Worsler up on the left-hand side. Worsler going to be 8th quick after lap number 1. See what Troy Haight can do. He has just finished lap number 2. Just a tick slower, so 22:418 will be his lap timer record. Will Worsler within 2/100ths of the pole, and he bins it right at the start-finish line.
That is exactly what I was saying. It gets loose right there, right in that transition, and you're pretty much chasing that thing down the track, back up the track. And that would have been pole, considering he's 2/100ths off the time and sliding across the start-finish line.
Oh, hold on to it, Hunter. Oh, big contact with the outside safer barrier for Hunter Waters. He's going to have to head back to the pits. We will pick up AJ Digby here as we wait for Hunter Waters to come back out onto the racetrack. Almost everybody has completed their laps. Tim Knott still has not turned a lap yet. Neither is Max Williams, Johnny Avila, Corbin Simmons, or Tony Patton. Pick this one back up here as Hunter Waters, the fastest pickle in the South, gets back out onto the racetrack. Lap number 1 for AJ Digby, 22.763 seconds. Lap number 90 will be the stage break caution tonight, so potentially could see some very, very long runs out of the front runners. Richmond, very much a track that, as wide as it is, can be difficult to pass on.
Yeah, because you really have to use the entirety of the racetrack. You can get some too wide racing, but there's definitely a preferred line. And that's the low line right in the middle of the corner, and you want to enter against the wall and exit against the wall. You want to use the entirety of this track. So passing is tough. Passing is going to be very, very difficult.
Go on board here with Richard Fletcher as he is making his laps out on the racetrack. Well, and he just finishes up lap number 2 here, so lap number 2 for Fletcher, 22.870 seconds, 22.87 with a 0 for the 8th quick lap of Richard Fletcher. Down still 5 minutes and change left here in the qualification session. Tony Patton looks like he is heading out onto the racetrack, so we can pick him up here as he gets off at turn number 2. Also going to see the 10 of Corbin Simmons making his way out onto the speedway. We'll pick up Corbin here and get you back to the side-by-side look. Oh, wow, big slide out of Tony Patton. Oh, man, that's a tough break, too. You slide across the line like that. Lap 1 counts. Lap 2 is basically just as hosed in this case. Now, Patton, that was coming to the green, so he's still going to have lap 2 to work with. But, man, that tells me this place is still a little bit tricky for these drivers.
Which is good. I want the track to be a little bit tricky. Hopefully, it's more of the driver's skill that they've just gotten better with this car, that we don't see as much of a wreck fest. But I still want to see the fantastic saves. I want to see these guys struggling to drive the car a little bit, because that makes for great racing where one guy, let's say Johnny Avila, screws up going in the 1, Kevin Dick passes him. Kevin Dick screws up going in the 3, Johnny Avila passes him right back. That is fantastic. So hopefully we get a little bit of that, and a tough car to drive means the drivers are good at it.
Oh, the 60. Yeah, that's the 63 of Johnny Avila putting it up into the fence. QCP Designs on that machine
I
this
jinxed
week.
him right there.
Well, yeah, a little bit of a change from the Bulldog Roofworks colors we're used to seeing on that car. And right now, we have nobody out on the racetrack. Well, here we go. Here's Johnny Avila just getting back out there.
I believe he's still hungover from his vacation last week.
Possibly. He got engaged out there as well while down in Mexico. So congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations to Johnny Avila and his new fiance. See what lap number 1's going to look like for the 63. There it is. There's those Bulldog Roofworks colors. Man, really sails it off into turn number 1. Johnny Avila looks like he has got a handful tonight. Take a look here at the weather conditions presented by our friends at the Weather Center. 76-degree ambient temperature. Winds going to be out of the southwest at 8 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies. 78-degree track temperature. So grip shouldn't necessarily be a problem tonight.
You say that. One thing I'd like to take note with is the relative humidity. I really didn't think this had much of an effect. I know in the drag racing world it's something they really, really look at. But with how high that humidity is, it almost builds a dew up on the track, where the track gets just a hair slick. And that was something I was experimenting with our Fastmaster series. Since it's a fixed setup, you really got to play with the track settings to get that Mercedes GT3 to work on ovals. And I found the higher you set the humidity, the more the car would kind of slide around. I don't know if it's just me, if it's in my head, placebo effect, but it really does seem that way.
Well, 2 minutes left in qualifying and just a couple of cars left to go here. Max Williams only going to be 15th quick at a 26.398. Johnny Avila 10th quick at a 22.998. Name we do not have on the entry list tonight. Actually, yes, we do, but he's going to be 12th quick at a 23 flat. Tyler Seville, the race winner here the last time we were here. AJ Digby coming home second back in February. He is 4th quick on the board, so a pretty good lap for AJ Digby. And Johnny Avila was our 3rd place finisher that night.
Which, if you remember from that race, Johnny Avila wrecked really early on. He got taken out by another car spinning. And drove his way up through the field. Now, that was a 200-lap race versus tonight's 175, but in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't matter very much. It's still a long race, and he still drove his way to the front, even with damage. So, obviously, this is a track he's talented at. I'm kind of wondering what's going on with him tonight. Is something off? Maybe took the week off, getting back in the sim rig, just not comfortable with it. Could be a bunch of silly little things like that.
Very well could be. Before we get too deep into things, got to say a big thank you to all of the sponsors that help make these Sim Racers Club Premier Series broadcasts happen, including SimSpeedShop.com. Overall season champ going to pick up a NASCAR-style wheel. Spring champion Johnny Avila picking up a button box, which he has said, as we told us last week on the broadcast, absolutely fantastic and a nice mount up on the side of his rig. Fall season champion also going to pick up a button box. 3 additional button boxes going out for the Safe Driver draw at the conclusion of the season as well. Got to say a big thank you to Northland Leisure for putting up a cash sponsor for the stage winners, and Realty Executives Saskatoon for being a cash sponsor of the Fastest Lap Award. Custom Paints and Diecast picking up the Hard Charger and the Biggest Loser Awards. Thank you very much for your support of the Sim Racers Club. Field getting ready to line up here on the start-finish line, or at least on the front straightaway anyway. And let's take a look. Yeah, there we go. Nice trackside view here. Let's get you tonight's starting grid for a 175 lap feature at Richmond. Starting on the pole for this one, out of Canada, will be the number 52 of Kevin Dick, 22.331 seconds. For the native of Red Deer, Alberta, Canada, for Pie-Eyed Racing. Custom Paints and Diecast Northland, Leisure Mint Mortgage on the side of that number 52. On the outside of the front row, out of New Johnsonville, I believe, Tennessee, the Ford Mustang of Will Worsler for Will Worsler Racing, Willoughby Roofing and Sheet Metal, Custom Paints and Diecast, High Flow Industrial and Environmental Services on the side of the 29 here this evening. On row number 2, starting on the inside, will be the number 28 of Troy Haight out of Pennsylvania. And to his outside, the first driver, 1/10 of a second back in qualifying. The number 14 of Alliance, Ohio's A.J. Digby in the Chevrolet Camaro for Will Worsler Racing with Custom Paints and Diecasts on the side. Row number 3 will have Andrew Moore Jr. in the 77 alongside of Brad Allison, Thomas Wilhite, and Tony Patton on row number 4. Row 5, Richard Fletcher and Johnny Avila. Little bit of a surprise to see Johnny there back in the 10th position outside of row number 5. He's going to have some work to do here this evening. Another couple of surprises on row number 6. Colton Harvey, very quick 1 week ago in the season opener. He's going to line up alongside Tyler Seville. Tyler, a record holder many times over in this series. Got a good start to this season, which is really what he was looking for 1 week ago. John Moeller and Corbin Simmons on row number 7. Row number 8 will have Max Williams, and the first car not to register a lap time tonight, that's Hunter Waters. All alone on row number 9 will be the 41 of Tim Knott out of the Great Republic of Texas. 17 cars scheduled for tonight's 175 lap feature event, I should say. Pit strategy, I would imagine, is going to be pretty interesting here tonight as well, Patrick. I believe they only have 2 sets of tires in the box. Yep, 1 plus 2 in the pits. That makes things difficult because if the car's not handling the way you want it to, this place can really become a handful and burning up rubber.
Yeah, you'll burn off that right rear here and the car just becomes evil to drive. It tries to kill you just about every time you turn.
Green flag goes in the air, and as always, race fans, the start of this one is going to be all yours. Lap number 1 is in the books, and it will be Kevin Dick, your race leader. Andrew Moore going to work inside of Troy Haight in the battle for the 2nd position. A couple of good battles all over the place here, quite frankly. A.J. Digby trying to fight up to the outside of
Will
Moore.
Worsler fighting for the lead.
I was going to say, Will Worsler going for the lead on Kevin Dick. Bring up the side-by-side. Worsler grabbing the race lead off at 2. Moore able to slot down in front of Digby as they make their way down the backstretch. Troy Haight now thinking about having a peek here on Kevin Dick. We'll see, but Dick going to fight right back as they get down towards turn number 1.
Oh man, Troy Haight blinking in and out a little bit.
Yeah, and the Sim Racers Club does have live admins, and they have a rule about that. If you're blinking a little bit too much, they will throw a black flag, let you come back out on the racetrack. If you keep blinking, you're going to get the boot. You really don't want to see that happen early in the race. The earlier it happens, the more likely you are to see that penalty call.
You know, another thing I was reading in the rule book that just got me thinking about Johnny Avila, who's already up 4 spots. His qualifying might enable him to get the hard charger, which after missing the first week of this season, will get him another bonus point. So maybe it's not the end of the world for him. Charge his way up to, maybe if he knows he can't win, charge his way up to 2nd or 3rd. That might be good enough to get him the hard charger.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that one plays out here over the course of the night. Got a message earlier in the chat. Let's take a look at this one here real quick. Check out the sponsor on the 43. It's a great throwback paint scheme. Throwback looking anyway. Acme Anvils, the cartoon anvil. Oh, that's fantastic. Richard Fletcher, you win paint scheme of the night. I don't care what anybody else has to say. The cartoon anvil is actually out on the racetrack. That's beautiful.
It might not be the most complex scheme on this track, but it's got the Roadrunner and what's his name, Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Patrick Byrne, a guy who can quote Sun Tzu but doesn't know who Wile E. Coyote is.
Well, The Art of War is an important book. It's just a cartoon. If it was Tom and Jerry, I can quote you every line from every episode of Tom and Jerry.
Trouble on the racetrack for Tony Patton. Corbin Simmons also on the pit lane here.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to Corbin Simmons, because it seemed like he dropped off. Maybe he was having some hardware issues, or maybe a connection issue, decided to park it and get that sorted out, maybe get back out on track, and hopefully a couple cars wrecked for him.
Well, we'll have to see, but we'll also get you the replay here of what happened to Tony Patton as well. Oh, let's see. Take a look, and we'll get you a Hot Shoe Raceway instant replay. See what happened to Tony Patton. Oh, a caution is out. Oh, big contact. We go back to the live look. John Moeller having an issue. Caution flag number 1 is on the racetrack. So we'll stay here for just a second anyway with Andrew Moore Jr. We'll get the replay queued up here and ready to roll. Moore currently running in the 5th position. Will Worsler, your race leader. Let's take a look here. See what happened to John Moeller. Oh, just a little bit of a slide off of turn number 2.
Oh, and then he spins it.
Tried to get it back on the racetrack and comes to a stop right in front of the race leaders.
That yellow line, I know I talked about it the last time we were here. Do not touch that yellow line. And you saw it right there. Even though he was coming from the other side of it, you're on the power right on the yellow line. It is slick. It is like hitting a puddle of ice. The car will come around on you. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Nothing you can do about it. You are done. And that's what we saw right there. Albeit, he didn't get very damaged from it. He got lucky. He got away with it. But, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. This caution is probably not coming at a real good time for your race leaders. 15 laps around Richmond is absolutely enough time to get the full heat cycle build up in these tires. You can do it once, but you don't want to start doing that 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, especially I believe there's only 2 tires in the box for these guys. So tires are really going to be an issue. Some of these guys at the front, Will Worsler, I don't want to rag on the guy, but I don't know if running up here and trying to run away from everyone is the right idea. Just because if you're following someone, you're going to wear the right front, which isn't a big deal here. It's the right rear you got to worry about. And you only have 2 of those to put on. So if you burn them out early on in this race, come checkered flag time, you're going to be struggling to hang on, let alone go fast.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a big, big concern for these drivers as we go here. We'll see how things are going to shake out. Want to remind everybody, check in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from here. Hopefully you are enjoying the show.
Richmond is definitely a track where early on in the race, clean air is not king. I know 90% of the tracks we go to and 90% of the series we go to, clean air is king. Not here and not this early on in the race. Later on, 10 to go, absolutely, give me that clean air. Right now, I don't know if I want it.
Well, nobody coming down pit road this time, so we'll see how things are going to shake out here, but it will be a double file restart. Should get the one to go signal the next time by. It'll put Will Worsler and Kevin Dick on road number 1, Troy Haight, Johnny Avila on road 2. Avila already up 6 spots from where he started, but he's not the hard charger. Andrew Moore, AJ Digby on row 3, Brad Allison, Colton Harvey row 4. Tyler Seville and Tim Knott on row number 5. Knott is your hard charger to this point, up 7. Max Williams and Hunter Waters on row number 6. Thomas Wilhite, Richard Fletcher, row 7. Tony Patton, John Moeller, row number 8 for the restart. I'll tell you what, though, Patrick, one thing about Richmond that I absolutely love, this is a place that laps tick off in a hurry. You'll do this, and Bristol are two that really just, you look up and go, whoa, how did we get that deep into this? We're already almost 20 laps in. That's 23 is the halfway point for stage number 1.
I mean, we're only running 20-second laps, so yeah, they just tick away. It's kind of like watching the mile markers go as you drive down the highway on a long drive.
Green flag back in the air, and Will Worsler with an absolutely fantastic restart. Avila 3 wide turn number 1. Avila up on the outside. Kevin Dick going to be in the middle of the racetrack. Troy Haight all the way down on the inside. Avila's going to be able to clear Kevin Dick, who was your early race leader.
And he's got a run on Troy Haight, so that's going to put Johnny Avila second. Currently, he is your hard charger, up 8. Tim Knott back in 10th. He's up 7, but oh man.
Kevin Dick, Troy Haight, the side-by-side battle. Just back behind is going to be Colton Harvey and Andrew Moore Jr. They'll duel as well. Haight able to clear around Dick. Well, he had him cleared. Haight going to try to fight back in turn number 1, but he may lose a little bit of ground up the top of the racetrack. As Harvey able to clear Moore, and he's now going to work on the 52 machine. And Johnny Avila is not letting... Oh, wow, I was going to say he's not letting Will Worsler go, but Avila almost binned it off in turn 2. What a save by Johnny Avila. Take a look at this one on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Little twitch, little twitch. Oh, hold on to it, buddy. Nice save, Johnny Avila.
Just talking about that yellow line.
I believe so. Proof Johnny's not watching the broadcast.
That yellow line.
And that's going to promote Troy Haight up to the 2nd position. He's trying to track down Will Worsler. Kevin Dick able to recover after a little bit slow of a restart. This actually is starting to develop the feel of what we've seen in the real world here, Patrick. You sort of have to be in line. Richmond is very difficult to pass on in these next-gen race cars. Almost like you have to wait for the driver in front to make a mistake.
Yeah, and that is very, very difficult to do as a driver. But there's some things you could do. You could ride up right against their bumper and kind of force them into making a mistake. I want to call it bump and run, but that's how you wreck somebody here. You kind of got to just sit there and hang on to them and drive them deeper in the corner than they want to go. A lot like what we see in the real world at Snydersville. That's exactly how you have to make a pass happen at Snydersville. You got to get on their bumper exiting the corner and stay there until the entry. That is probably the easiest way to pass here. And caution is out.
Yep, caution out on the speedway. Take a look, see what happened here to Max Williams. Oh, big hit. Tim Knott was all over the place. Tim Knott makes contact with Max Williams. That will bring out the caution flag. But what happened to Tim Knott prior to this? Let's take a look here and see. Man, he was all way down on the inside of the racetrack. We've even got to go back farther than that. Let's take a look. Oh, he got hooked. Contact with Max Williams.
I mean, well, if you're going to swing back up the track and hit a car, hitting the car that hits you is a pretty good target. It's better than an innocent bystander.
Yeah, let's take a look here. See if we can go back a little bit further and see the contact here. Oh, yeah. That was a big shot.
And
That
you can see
almost...
that left front is already broken.
It almost looked like it was just earlier on the brakes. Like Tim Knott was on the brakes just a little bit earlier than Max Williams was anticipating. Because that was definitely heavy contact down the front straightaway. But looks like Max Williams and Tim Knott could both be out of this race. Williams making his way down onto pit lane. We'll have to see, but no backup cars are available here. And one thing I'm not seeing is the jack going up on the right-hand side of that car. So, does not look good for Max Williams if he was just coming in for a damage repair. Caution number 2 coming at lap number 28. That was, again, about a 10-lap stint. Just long enough to spool those tires up. That right rear has got to feel like an absolute rock for these drivers right now.
Yeah, it's going to be slick. If nobody pit here, I'd imagine we might have an incident on the restart.
Well,
I don't want to call an incident, but...
Let's take a look. See if we can talk to Will Worsler here real quick. And Will, I'll tell you what, man, the car looks good out front there. Are you a little bit concerned about tires with these back-to-back cautions like we've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not planning on taking tires until the lap 90 stage 2 caution. So I've been trying to, I found myself in the lead accidentally and trying to stay in the lead as slowly as possible. I'm not trying to do what I did at New Hampshire and get a nice 4.5 second lead and burn my right rear off with my brake bias turned down so low on entry and spin myself on lap 63 or some stupid stuff. So just kind of taking it easy and see how it goes. And I mean, if I get caught and people pass me, it's still early in this race. I ain't going to fight right now.
All right, well, good luck here. We'll let you get ready for the restart. Thank you very much for letting us check in with you there. And that's the smart call, I would guess, Patrick. You stop at lap 90. You're going to get the caution flag there. Make your stop, and then you still have one in the box if you need it for later in the race.
Yeah, that brings you to about halfway, so pretty much no matter where you pit after that, you're running less laps on that second set than you are this set.
Good start for Will Worsler. Colton Harvey getting a little bit shuffled out here up on the outside of the racetrack. Johnny Avila trying to fight his way back. He's tucked in behind Andrew Moore Jr. Troy Haight, Kevin Dick also going to battle into turn number 3. That's the fight for the second position. Looks like it's going to be Troy Haight picking that one up cleanly as they get off at turn number 2. Slide back just a little bit. You got Colton Harvey, and he has Johnny Avila getting way down to the inside. You really can dive it into the corner, but I would imagine that's a lot of stress on that right rear coming off corner exit, trying to get that power down.
Not only that, but what Will Worsler was saying, the fastest way around here is setting the brake bias all the way to the rear. So if you dive into the corner really hard and you're getting hard on the brakes, you're locking that right rear up ever so slightly. And that's going to put a ton of wear on that tire as well.
A great point. Tyler Seville working now on Colton Harvey. Hey, what the Harvey able to come back, and we have a battle for the race lead. Troy Haight trying to peek inside of Will Worsler. Will Worsler kind of going that.
Gonna fight.
I say it's kind of that Alain Prost strategy. Do the minimum you need to do to win.
But I'd imagine, even though he said he's not going to fight, I think he's going to fight just a little bit because there's a train of cars behind him, and losing 1 or 2 spots ain't that bad, but I'd imagine he'd slide in behind Johnny Avila and end up 5th if he lets these guys by.
Well, I was going to say, with how dependent track position is here, you really don't want to be up on the outside of the racetrack. We are down to 10 laps to go here in stage number 1.
Dives it in deep to keep in front of Troy Haight. That is not what you want to do if you want to keep preserving these tires. And Troy Haight looking to the inside again, forcing Will Worsler to keep diving deeper than he really wants to.
Battle for the lead, pretty quiet here at the front of the field. Take a look and see where else we may have some battles going on here. Everybody at this point is basically pretty well single-filed out. Looks like they're going to be content to at least ride their way through a little bit here. Maybe see a little bit more action as we get closer to that lap 45 and to stage number 1. But I tell you what, though, I will say part surprised, part impressed that these drivers are going to try to make a set of tires last 90 laps. I understand you want to keep one in the box, and track position is so important.
But you saw right there, Kevin Dick is pushing really hard as well. I don't know if you caught that, but coming out of turn 4, a little bit awful lock there. Sorry, I forgot this is NASCAR. It's a European term. A little bit of counter steer there. Oh, just a touch there again. He is pushing the tires off of this race car.
Take a look. Let's go on board here with Kevin Dick off of turn number 2. You see it a little bit there even on corner exit of turn 2.
And just watch out at 4. It's subtle, but he's just getting on the power a little too early. And of course, now they're watching him, he's not going to do it. He's going to execute perfectly. Going to try and go for the outside now around Troy Haight. He might be able to get it done. He's saying, get the hell out of the way, Troy. I've got stuff to do. I've got a leader to pass, and you're not doing it right just yet. These guys fighting, though, is exactly what Will Worsler wants to see. He's going to be able to pull away with these guys side by side.
Yeah, the points battle is definitely going to be one that we watch here because, or I should say the track position battle is one that we're going to be watching here early on in this race. Because we're down to just a couple of laps to go. 3
and of course, right
specifically.
as you pull the in-car away.
That is correct.
He gets a big wiggle right there.
Well, and you can see how much Haight and Dick are both fighting their cars because Andrew Moore and Johnny Avila are now right there. Now the concern I would imagine for Troy Haight at least a little bit is in battling like you were. Did that get the tires a little bit too hot that now Andrew Moore may have a shot at you here for the pass as well? Lap 45 is on the board. Next time by, they'll see the green and white checkered to end stage number 1. But remember, no caution flag this time. This is a green flag stage break. The only scheduled caution of the night will be coming at lap number 90. Green-white checkers in the air. Will Worsler picks up the win in stage 1 over Kevin Dick, Troy Haight, Andrew Moore Jr., Johnny Avila, the top 5. Colton Harvey, Tyler Seville, Hunter Waters, AJ Digby, Brad Allison, the top 10.
Well, Warser, not really building up a gap. Again, like you said, the Elaine Prost strategy, just doing the minimum possible. If those guys are going to fight behind him, that gives him a chance to slow down a little bit, kind of keep that gap right exactly where it is.
Yeah, you can almost back yourself up and keep some life left in those tires that everybody else is burning off fighting for position. Man, Andrew Moore almost getting into the back of Troy Haight. In fact, has to take some evasive action to the outside. No benefit there to Johnny Avila, though. Again, Avila's going to have the peak.
Johnny, big wiggle there. Oh, man.
Not the first one of those he's had tonight.
That wasn't a bad one, though. As long as you don't hit that yellow line, you can save the car. As soon as you hit that, it spins around on you real quick.
Is that a frustrating thing as a driver when you're running a fixed setup series like this is, and you know that you can't touch it, you can't fix it, there's nothing to dial in on these Cup cars. You're kind of just stuck with what you got.
Yes and no. I almost prefer a fixed setup series just because I can go out there and practice and just run laps. I'm not testing and tuning. I'm not sitting there and practice changing this, running another full tire run, and then, that didn't feel very good at the end, changing something else and doing that over and over again. With a fixed setup, kind of just plug and play. Throw the keys in the ignition, hit the switch, and just run laps. And I like that better just because it helps me hone in myself as a driver adapting to different cars than trying to adapt the cars to me as I'm trying to adapt myself to it. It pulls a variable out, which personally I like, but I know a lot of guys, especially those who either are good setup builders or no good setup builders, much prefer the open series.
Yeah, that's always been the argument, is that if the fixed setup doesn't fit your driving style, it ends up being a garbage night for you. I like that kind of counter argument of you have to learn how to drive the car. Your style needs to adapt to fit the race car.
Which, yeah, I mean, I prefer a super duper loose car. I know you've said it, I know other people have said it. My cars are very, very difficult to drive, like Johnny Avila. It looks like that every time you come off the corner. That's the way I love to drive the car, and not a lot of people can drive my setups, but when you get in a fixed series race and car drives like that, I love it. I get a super tight car, which I know a guy like Jason Owens loves, and he's real fast with it. I can't drive it. I hit the wall every time I go into the corner, but if I want to become a better driver, if it's a fixed setup series, I have to know how to drive both of those. And that skill set is really, really helpful, even in an open setup series, because maybe the track temperature is different than what your setup is built for. You have to be able to adapt to that. And if you can't, you're just not a top caliber guy. And I know Johnny Avila, he's in the Road to Pro Series. I'm not ripping on him at all or any of these drivers. I'm just saying sometimes maybe he didn't put enough practice. I mean, Johnny Avila, he's had the week off. I don't know what day he got back home. This might be his first day back home, even stepping back in the sim rig with no practice here. So it might kind of just be a recovery night for him.
Well, the other part of it is, I know he has been putting in a ton of work on his Road to Pro efforts as well.
Yeah, which takes a ridiculous amount of effort. I was going the Road to Pro route, and I hired a coach for it. And the way we were practicing is however long the race was. If the race was 100 laps, you had to do 25 times the race distance in practice. So I had to do 2,500 laps of practice, which is an incredible amount of time, incredible amount of effort. And if Johnny Avila is doing all that, then this series and maybe any other series he runs is going to sacrifice a little bit. It's nothing he can help. It's just you have to allocate time to where it's needed.
It's almost though like this is a nice distraction. It's a car you're good in, setups you're usually pretty good with. Kind of one of those that Johnny can just hop in and be fairly quick because he knows the setup is going to be at least fairly close to something he likes to drive.
Yeah, and it's good practice too because we're not racing the tracks that the real life series, the Road to Pro series is at, so it gives him a good break even though it's in the same car. So kind of shakes things up a little bit, racing with guys he's familiar with, having just a good time. That's one big thing about sim racing. He touches the yellow line again, but he's good. That's one big thing about sim racing is I find I burn myself out a lot with it. Where if I'm really grinding at something and focusing on something, I get burnt out. It feels almost like a job. And at the end of the day, I know it might be different for Johnny Avila and those guys actually in the Pro Series, but at the end of the day, I'm sitting here playing on my computer. And if it's not fun, there's no point in doing it.
Right, well, that's exactly it. What are you doing it for if you're not having fun anymore?
So Johnny Vila probably hops in this, has a good time, good laughs. We heard him in the broadcast booth. He was laughing with you the whole night. It's fun. That's the same reason I hop in the broadcast booth with you. At the end of the day, we're talking about pretend race cars, but it's fun. These drivers are having fun. I'm sure the audience is having fun, which is the whole reason we're here.
Yep, and Avila battling here with Andrew Moore Jr. He's got Moore up to the high side of the racetrack. Love that you can see the brakes glowing big on Johnny Avila's front end there. Moore able to fight back.
And Tyler's still right behind him, trying to follow him through there. The bottom line is the preferred line, but if you're sticking there way up high like Andrew Moore is, you're going to be able to get those runs down the straightaway, and especially if Johnny Avila bobbles like that. Oh, man.
What a twitch save from Johnny Avila. Good Lord, he did it again.
That's 2 strikes, and I know we're not playing baseball, but usually the third time you do that, it bites you.
So now we'll see if Tyler Seville's going to be able to do anything with Andrew Moore. And I wonder if Moore hasn't maybe cooked the tires off a little bit here. Almost up into the safer barrier at the exit of turn number 4. Could we see stops earlier than lap number 90? That's a big question. The only problem with stopping before the stage break is then you got to, depending on the fuel number, you may have to make it a 2-stop race at that point.
I would say the 2-stop race is the best option anyway. With how quickly tires are degrading here, how hard it is to keep tires on the car, just split it up in the thirds and you should be pretty alright. Might not be the winning strategy, but it's definitely a top 5 strategy.
Yeah, especially if you start to look at some of the numbers. Will Worsler, race leader, best lap, 22.444 seconds. The 15-lap average is a 23.6. The 5-lap average, almost a 23.7. You're giving up 1.5 seconds to 60-lap old tires. If you can make the fuel number work, I think it only makes sense to make this a 2-stop race.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we talk about on the Formula 1 side, where sure, you can cut a pit stop out of it and it cuts 40 seconds out of it. But if you're running 20 laps, losing 2 seconds a lap, you're losing that 40 seconds anyway. So you kind of got to pick your options here, and you can go a lot faster if you take that short pit. But we heard Johnny Vila on the broadcast saying the long pit is the over is the way to go. So I wonder what his strategy is going to be. I wonder if him and Will Morse are on the same idea of hit at that lap 90 caution.
Well, I'll tell you what, a guy who looks like he's saved a ton of tires and he's been a master of strategy in this series in the past is Tyler Seville. Seville easily able to clear Troy Haight for the 3rd position and pretty rapidly eating into the gap here that Kevin Dick has. However, Will Worsler now sitting 3.3 seconds ahead of 3rd place Tyler Seville. And I'll tell you what, we're going to talk the strategy game that Will Worsler's playing, incredibly consistent. The 5-lap average now sitting just a tick above 23.7. The 15-lap average just a tick below 23.7 seconds, as Tyler Seville easily able to clear Kevin Dick. If you know what the number you want to make is, and you can make it lap after lap like Will Worsler's doing, that can become a very dominant win very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the graphic of how many laps he's led so far, but it's definitely been the majority of this race. And if he can get the lap 90 staying in the lead, that should get him pretty close to guaranteed the most laps led of the race, which is a bonus point right there, too. Which, in the second half of the season, the points kind of get reset, so maybe we could see Will Worsler with a full comeback and Team Motor goes and wins the championship for the team. Worsler's extended that gap now to 4 seconds. Absolutely dominant out of him, but part of me wonders if he's pushing a little too hard, if maybe some of these guys in the back are going to be able to catch up to him, but even Tyler Seville is still running slower lap times than him, so whatever he's doing is working out pretty well.
Yeah, Tyler Seville sitting at basically a 23.8 right now across the 5, 10, and 15 lap average. Still in the 23.7s for Will Worsler, so getting close to that lap 90 stage break caution, and that really is a reset in every sense of the word here, Patrick. All the gaps go away. You kind of take a look, see what the weather numbers might be, if you can get access to them via crew chief or something like that. You decide what changes you want to make on the car, and then it's go time.
Which, look, in our temperatures and humidity and everything, they haven't changed by more than a degree or a percentage, so really, we've had a pretty consistent track tonight, which is usually the way the night races go. The night races don't change very much over the course.
The next time by, it's going to be 10 laps to go for Will Worsler. Next car on the list here to pick off, put him a lap down, will be the 03 of Brad Allison, running in the 14th position. John Moeller, the first car, 1 lap down in 15th. Updating our Hard Charger Award tonight, no contest. It is your second place runner, Tyler Seville. Seville up 10 spots from where he started here this evening. Looks like Brad Allison is actually going to be the biggest loser of the night. He is currently down 8, running in the 14th position after qualifying in 6th. Already inside at 10 to go here and approaching the halfway point of the race as well. Slide back a little here. AJ Digby right up the rear deck lid of Colton Harvey's number 36. Almost there, man. The bump and run, a dangerous strategy here at Richmond. Sometimes you get him, you try to just rattle his cage a little, so to speak, and you're not sure which way the twitch is going to go. That can be dangerous. Yeah, oh, like there it is.
The bump and run is how you get wrecked here. But you push someone in the corner or just make a little contact like that, and it can work beautifully. You kind of got to make the contact differently than you would in a normal short track. This track's slogan used to be the short track that thinks it's a super speedway, and that's kind of how you have to drive it.
Will Wursler already with one stage victory here tonight, trying for his second and wanting to sweep the stages. Ooh, a little bit of a bobble there for Colton Harvey at the mid-corner. No harm, no foul. Everybody, this is right now the only tight battle on the racetrack. Tony Patton, Hunter Waters, and Max Williams. That is 9th, 10th, and 11th. Not a bad drive here for Williams to recover after the big-time contact with Tim Knott in the 41. Both Tim Knott and Corbin Simmons in the 10, both listed as out of the race.
Which I wonder if we'll see Corbin Simmons hop back on track. He's only 22 laps behind Tim Knott. That single point isn't much, but at the end of the day, it could be worth something. It could be worth a position, and at the end of the season, if you're just 1 point shy of being in the top 10 in points, you're going to kick yourself for that. So I wonder if he'll go out there and try and get it. As we see Hunter Waters going for the move.
Good evening, Miss Nikki Wursler. Hope you are doing well here this evening. Thank you very much for checking in and hanging out with us a little bit. Lap number 90 is on the board, and off of turn number 4, green and white checkered flag will go in the air this time. Will Wursler picks up the win in stage number 2. Tyler Seville will be able to hold on for the second position. Kevin Dick, Troy Haight, and Johnny Avila will be the top 5. And there is the caution flag as Will Wursler comes back around. And we are under the caution for the third time tonight, this time for the end of stage number 2.
Saw a dominant, pretty much first half of the race by Will Wursler.
Yeah, Will Wursler was absolutely impressive here thus far this evening, and he is going to head down pit lane. We'll see who's going to win the race off of pit road.
Now, Max Williams was on the lead lap, but he pit on lap 27. I'm curious if he's going to come down the pits again. He will, so I imagine he didn't take a set of tires when he came down the pits to repair that damage.
Yeah, looks like we haven't seen them yet, but I believe... Oh, yeah, they're still coming around here. Thomas Wilhite, Richard Fletcher, Pat Allison, and John Moeller. We'll see who's going to win the race off of pit road. Crew already around to the left-hand side for Will Wursler. He is down and away, and Will Wursler will be your race leader off of pit road. Thomas Wilhite, I believe, stayed out on the racetrack.
Kevin Dick with an extended pit stop. I almost wonder if he got a pit entry penalty there. Almost 27 seconds in the box for him versus Will Wursler's 16.
Well, Tyler Seville going to be your second place runner here as they came out of the pit lane.
As we see Max Williams pulling into the pits again, I wonder if he's fixing extra damage.
Yeah, Thomas Wilhite, by the way, did come down pit lane. So let's give you the field rundown here as we circulate under the caution flag. Will Wursler will be your race leader over Tyler Seville. Troy Haight, Johnny Avila, AJ Digby, your top 5. 6 through 10, Andrew Moore Jr., Kevin Dick, Colton Harvey, Hunter Waters, and Tony Patton. Thomas Wilhite rejoining the racetrack now. He's going to come out in the 11th position. Max Williams out of the pit lane in 12th. Brad Allison, Richard Fletcher, John Moeller, Tim Knott, and Corbin Simmons all being scored 1 or more laps down. Tim Knott and Corbin Simmons are out of the race. Miss Nikki, you're saying you're late. Good evening. I'm late, but I'm here. Well, here you go. Here's your paint scheme of the night. Richard Fletcher's Cartoon Anvil, number 43. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. Wile E. Coyote on the side of that machine. Well done, Richard. The lights are out on the iRacing safety truck. Oh, here we go. Mike McConville not in the race tonight. Well, because he's got something else to do. Take a look in the comments here. Shout out from Turn 1 at North Wilkesboro. The Cars Tour race was amazing. Wishing everyone good luck and somebody better beat Johnny Avila. I'll tell you what, Mike, I absolutely love the Cars Tour racing, but we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. The heck, y'all at home, go ahead and crank it up. Lap number 1 of stage 3 is in the books. Going to be Will Worsler continuing to lead. AJ Digby, Johnny Avila battle through turns 1 and 2. Avila this time up on the high side of the racetrack. Digby able to make the inside lane work for now. Troy Hay thought about having a peek on your race leader as well. Slide up
Troy
here.
Hay's gonna try it again coming in the 1. Taking that bottom line, unless he's going to make another pit stop here fairly early on if another caution comes out. I don't know if I want to keep pushing my luck down here, especially on these new cold tires. But he rolls and wins the bet. Oh, and Will Worsler going to go for the crossover.
Yep, Worsler makes the big dive. Caution is out. Yellow flag on the speedway. Trouble for John Moeller towards the back of the pack. Let's take a look here at the Hot Shoe Raceway instant replay. Second time tonight, Moeller's had a little bit of an incident. Almost carbon copy just on the opposite end of the racetrack. Moeller comes to a stop on the front straightaway.
I'm going to hop in the driver's meeting next week and just or next time they're at Richmond and just say yellow line over and over again. like I'm in a cult and I'm just repeating a mantra. Yellow line, do not touch, yellow line.
So we've got a new race leader putting lap number 2 on the board, led for the 28 of Troy Haight. Down to 73 laps to go. This will be a shorter stint than the last one was. Let's take a look here and see if we can't get Troy up into the broadcast booth with us. I don't see Troy in the room though, so maybe not.
I was just looking for Troy. He's hiding somewhere. Not here though.
So we talked about the early cautions coming out and kind of spoiling the tires here a little bit. Wonder if that may not be a concern going forward here as well. 9 laps, now 10 laps on this set of tires. Once again, just long enough to build up a full heat cycle in them. We'll see how it's all going to work when they cool off. Surprised we don't have anybody down on the apron or anything, or way up by the outside wall. Lights are still on the iRacing safety truck, so we're going to go at least one more lap here under the caution flag. Let's see if we can't talk to our our color commentator from 1 week ago here. Bring Mr. Johnny Avila up here into the booth with us. And Johnny, how does the car feel here tonight? You look like you may have had a handful at various points here.
Yeah, for a second, it felt like I stopped racing and started playing hockey because this thing was on ice. But we'll see how it goes.
Hey, Johnny, do you want to trade spots here? I'll hop in the car and I'll drive for you, and you hop back up here in the booth.
If you want, come down. Let's go.
What side of Canada are you on? You on the east side or the west side?
East side. I'm from Toronto.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm from New York City. I mean, I'll be there in like 6-7 hours. Hopefully the race will be going on.
Just tell them to throw the red flag. I'm sure they'll wait for you.
We'll see if we can get Sam into Jordan's on that one. Johnny, good luck the rest of the way here, bud. Thanks for checking in with us. And oh, that's awesome. Put out the red flag for 6 or 7 hours. There's a raindrop falling somewhere on the planet.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, I've had a beer. I gotta wait until I sober up. Tell them to delay it for 10 or 11. We'll just start it tomorrow morning.
Mike McConville saying nothing better than watching the best broadcast team and the best bunch of drivers I've raced with in between the Cars Tour and the limited late models. Well, thank you much, sir. We appreciate it. Oh, buddy, almost 3 wide off at turn number 2. It's going to be Tyler Seville, Will Worsler. They were battling for second. Worsler going to be able to hold on to the second spot. Seville holds on to third. He's going to drag Johnny Avila through. Avila down to the inside of A.J. Digby.
Speaking of Cars Tour, does Tony give us free access to his broadcasts, or do we have to pay?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. They actually had to put out a press release. CarsTour.tv did not have the broadcast coverage of tonight's race.
Oh man, I'm even wearing the pit row shirt too and everything.
Yep, they tonight's race was broadcast on XR and I want to say Racing America or something like that.
Darn.
I'm gonna say somebody got hosed. Digby almost up into the safer barrier off at turn number 4. Trying to get around Andrew Moore Jr. Man, it's just not happening. That 77 car looks stout right now. Johnny Avila going after Tyler Seville. Seville, oh man, I think Seville was in the outside wall there down the front straightaway. Avila cleared easily, and Seville is now in a hornet's nest. Digby had to back way out of the throttle to not run over the 11. Moore looking to the inside. The gap for Troy Haight sitting at 1.3 seconds. Over the 5-lap average, Haight is 0.2 a lap faster than Will Worsler. There's second.
We now have
go ahead.
Johnny Avila into the top 3, and Troy Haight, however, is running away with this one so far. He's over a second ahead, but one thing I want to mention, that right rear tire isn't going to be too happy with that.
Well, I was going to say, if you're going to make too much time, that's
you're
where
going to
things
lose
start
all that
to get
time
ugly.
on the back end.
Yep.
If I was him, now I'm not giving him advice, I'm not his crew chief, I would definitely take the lane cross strategy and just kind of back off a little bit. I'm not saying close the gap up completely, but maybe let it sit at half a second or so, or even maintain it here. Don't try and build a bigger gap.
Well, and you wonder, we're probably getting semi-close to where you would consider taking tires. Because we're 22 laps into this stint on the set of tires, and they do have the extra heat cycle. It's early enough that you could make up the track position that you might lose by taking tires. Max Williams looking inside of Colton Harvey into 3. Williams able to clear Harvey, going to slot back to the 8th position. Man, we can hear somebody. There are definitely cars bouncing off the wall here.
And that's very, very easy to do. Kind of just the car pushing up, especially in turns 2. I say turn 2. It's very easy to kind of push up and just bounce against that wall or kind of scrub against it where that Busch sign is.
Well, I'll tell you what here, Patrick. Troy Haight needs to start paying attention here because Will Worsler and Tyler Seville are catching up pretty handily here. The gap from first to second now sitting at 1.3 seconds, where just a couple of laps ago, sitting about 1.5, 1.6.
And maybe Troy Haight's taking our advice and just kind of holding that gap right where it is.
Yeah, down to 55 laps to go here, and things have definitely started to settle in. That is for sure. Race leader on the left-hand side of your screen, battle for the second position on the right. Let's keep an eye on this fight here between Will Worsler and Tyler Seville. That one seems to have calmed down just a little bit. We'll slide back here, pick up AJ Digby, Kevin Dick, and Max Williams. Here's Kevin Dick looking to the inside of AJ Digby into 1. Keeps it just high enough off that yellow line. Gets the nice exit off the corner. Should be good to clear by the time they get to turn number 3.
You can see just to the left of the frame there, Johnny Avila did just lose the position to Tyler Seville and he's kind of slipping back a little bit. Kevin Dick is closing that gap up on Johnny Avila.
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising. Avila was a little bit off the pace both in practice and in qualifying. Able to drive his way up through the field, but maybe not the quickest on outright pace. Kevin Dick was very quick tonight. Started on the pole after finishing practice inside the top 5. As we are now down to 50 laps to go here at Richmond. Upcoming schedule for the Sim Racers Club. First off week of the season next week for the, I guess, kind of the Labor Day holiday week. We return on September 14th with a visit to Watkins Glen for a 61 lap feature event. September 21st, Darlington Raceway, it's throwback night for the Sim Racers Club. Broadcast booth picking the best throwback paint scheme award.
Ooh.
I
So
am
someone
looking
brings
forward to that.
Scott Riggs 10, that Valvoline car back, I'll be happy.
You know what? I think we could have some really outstanding throwbacks here. Seeing Richard Fletcher has been down pit lane, making his way back out onto the racetrack.
And to the guys making the paint schemes, I mean, both me and Chris are IndyCar guys. If you want to try and turn an IndyCar scheme and try and throw it on a stock car, that might get you extra bonus points if you actually execute.
You know what? When it comes to the stock car stuff, I am old school. If somebody rolls out a Jimmy Smut Means paint scheme, a Rich Bickle scheme, Dick Trickle, even an old like Mark Martin ASA scheme or something, I am big on make the old throwbacks look cool on the new cars, especially with the number placement and stuff. That can be a little bit tricky at times. I am interested to see what the paint scheme designers are going to come up with for next week.
You know, it's funny you say Mark Martin. You know my favorite thing about Mark Martin?
What's
he's
that?
He's a big fan of rap music.
Yes, he is.
Good friends with Gucci Mane. The most surprising friendship to me in like all of racing is Mark Martin and Gucci Mane. But they're friends and they actually hang out.
One of my favorite tweets I have ever seen was somebody tweeted him, "Mark, what are your thoughts on Drake?" And he said something to the effect of cold as the other side of the pillow or something. Not cool, cold. Like actually throwing shade at Drake on Twitter. It was beautiful.
Oh, man. Let's keep throwing the...
I was going to say, well, let's go back in the pack a little bit here. Pick up Brad Allison and Tony Patton. This is the battle for the 10th position. We've seen Patton a little squirrely here. Brad Allison, a little bit surprised to see him running this deep in the pack tonight. Brad down 4 spots after qualifying in the 6th position. Biggest loser of the race right now appears to be Andrew Moore Jr. all the way back to the 12th position.
Oh, hang on to it.
Wow, nice save, Tony. I'll tell you what, I think Andrew Moore may have had an issue as well here. He lost a handful of spots back about lap 112. That's put Moore well back in the pack here. Gonna have to work his way forward. Very quickly down to 40 laps to go here. Troy Haight, your race leader. Oh man, Tony Patton's got a handful. Richard Fletcher takes some evasive maneuvering down to the inside of the racetrack. Move back up towards the front here because the gap has closed down pretty significantly between Will Worsler and Tyler Seville. And we'll get up the side-by-side here because Colton Harvey, Max Williams, and Hunter Waters are all battling as well. Waters down on the inside of the racetrack. Flips the boxes here for you. Well, we do that and the battle peters out just a little bit. But Max Williams made heavy contact with the outside retaining wall in turn number 1 after contact with Tim Knott early in this race. knocking on wood here. I believe this is our longest green flag run of the night, or at least is approaching our longest green flag run of the night. Will Worsler has caught up to Troy Haight. The race leader now under attack from second place Will Worsler. Tyler Seville going to be right there as well.
This is what we were talking about the back end of the run, where you can build up as much of a gap as you want at the front end, but your tire's going to be shot. You're second and third place, really closing that gap in, and I feel like they're on a little bit better equipment.
Well, and at this point, the problem for Troy Haight is this isn't even the back end of the run yet. There's still 34 laps to go. So this may not be as simple as you use the stuff up and you're going to fall back to third. You could fall back significantly in this field. Johnny Avila up only about a second and a half back as Will Worsler is going to make the dive into one. Oh, and caution flag is out. Trouble on the racetrack. Unfortunately, the cartoon anvil strikes again. See what happened here to Richard Fletcher off at turn number 2. Little twitch, little spin. Oh, and huge contact with the inside retaining wall. Tough break there for Richard Fletcher.
In his defense, he was shooting for someone painted a tunnel on the inside safer barrier there. And he was trying to go through that and try and shortcut the track, but unfortunately, that Roadrunner is just a little too smart.
Well, now the question becomes, who is coming down pit lane?
Troy Haight for sure.
I would think everybody is going to come down pit lane. Unless you're towards the back of the pack and you think you can make the tires last the rest of the way. But to this point, the top 10, top 11, everybody is on pit lane. While the field is on pit lane here, just to wrap up the comment here that Mike McConville made about the Cars Tour and the limited late models. If you're like stock car racing, pitroad.tv is absolutely your home for late model racing, super late model racing, etc. across the Southeast. Absolutely nobody better than Tony Stevens and the pitroad.tv team. Check them out at carstour.tv or pitroad.tv.
Fantastic bunch of guys. Professional quality work. Much better than we could ever hope to do.
Oh. Hold up there.
I'm just kidding. Are you saying we're not professional amateurs? I thought that was our slogan.
I will say we don't take ourselves too seriously. That is for sure. But
I am going to be fired after tonight. Whoever else fills in my spot next week, hopefully you guys enjoy them. You still got Johnny Avila's number?
Well, I was going to say, I can't fire you yet. My wife hasn't gotten her pink beer, so we can't fire you completely yet. So we should be seeing the one-to-go signal this time by at the start-finish line, and no, we will not. We're going to go at least one more lap here under caution. I'll tell you what, though, Patrick, this is an absolute game-changer for Troy Haight. He was very quick at the beginning of the run last time. Absolutely has the right, and now he's got the same tires.
To the checkered flag. Well, same amount of laps he pulled on the last run to the checkered flag. So either he's going to pull away again, or Will Worsler knows, hey, it's game time now. We got to go. So before we go green, I would like to wrap up our previous conversation. One point I found interesting about your throwback scheme and my throwback scheme is you were born sometime around the 80s, and all of your throwback schemes are stuff from the 60s. I was born in 2000, and all of my favorite throwback schemes, all from the mid to late 80s to early 90s. It's something interesting. It's about the same time frame back from when we were born to the throwback schemes we love.
Yeah, it's sort of what you grew up with as a kid. Now, granted, the paint schemes that I'm looking for are not necessarily a cup scheme either. There were some absolute classics out of what was then the Busch Series, and obviously the barnstorming tours like the ASA, IMCA, when they ran some pavement stuff as well. Old ARCA schemes. An Andy Belmont throwback scheme might win Scheme of the Night next week. Green flag goes back in the air. Troy Haight will easily be your race leader off to turn number 1. 3 wide into turn 1. Avila way down to the inside of the racetrack. Man, Tyler Seville got swallowed up a little bit, and he's going to fight right back here as well.
Tyler Seville almost making contact with Johnny Avila in the mid-corner.
Oh, man, that was tight. Down to 26 to go. Avila, he slides! He makes contact with Worsler!
Johnny Avila's car looks all right. Oh, and he got it.
Oh, big hit there from the 83 of John Moeller.
But he still looks all right. Actually, all 3 of those cars look all right. They don't look like they took any damage at all.
Other than we're down to 25 laps to go, and they are all heading towards the back of the pack.
Now, Johnny Avila, we watched him drive up through the field. We know he can make it back up to the front. Kevin Dick and Will Worsler, though, they've been up front this entire race. I don't know if they can make their way back up or not.
Oh, Will Worsler had a pretty solid hit, but square on the back end of that race car.
That square, the diffuser looks fine, and that rear spoiler looks fine, so that damage might not mean anything at all. All 3 of them coming down for a precautionary check, just let the pit crew check everything out, make sure the tires are fine, the wheels are, the suspension's fine, and sending them right back out there, hopefully.
Well, I was going to say, I would think all 3 of these cars are going to have some sort of damage that will need to be repaired here. We'll take a look and see. Johnny Avila is in his pit box.
All 3 of them did hit square, except Johnny Avila did have that little fender bender with John Moeller right on the left front tire, so I wonder if that's going to hurt the car a little bit. Now, one benefit of that, and something I've noticed in our Fastmaster series, is sometimes a little damage helps. It makes the car drive like how you want it to. Might have tightened him up just a little bit, just to what he needs. Now, it's a very risky take, because on the other end, it could have made the car 100 times worse.
Will Worsler is going to beat the pace car off a pit lane. I think Johnny Avila did too. Unfortunately, it looks like Kevin Dick, well, he's on his way out of the pits as well. He may have beaten the pace car. And it looks like they did, so they're going to basically run the whole way around the racetrack here and tag in at the back end of the field.
Now, one game I've played, and I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Dick played it as well, is if it's getting close to when the pace car comes around, especially when you take tires or something on a short track, and the pace car is coming around, you're not going to beat it to the exit of pits. I speed fairly heavily through the pit lane. If pit exit is closed, I go through that. As long as you don't stack a speeding penalty with a pit lane exit penalty, it's only an EOL. So if I'm close to that exit and it says closing, my foot is straight to the floor trying to keep myself in the lead lap, because I'm going to be at the tail end of the lead lap anyway, so I'll take the EOL, sit behind the lap down cars, and not go a lap down myself. So if we see him parked behind these lead lap cars, we know exactly what games he was playing.
Well, we will definitely find out here very, very shortly. But now Troy Haight will be your race leader, and he'll have Tyler Seville lining up alongside for the restart. AJ Digby, Hunter Waters going to make up row number 2. Row 3 will have Colton Harvey and Max Williams. Williams was sideways and junked earlier in this race. Able to stay on the lead lap. Andrew Moore Jr. back up to 7th. Tony Patton to 8th. Thomas Wilhite, Brad Allison on row number 5. John Moeller and Will Worsler on row 6. Johnny Avila is on pit lane. Kevin Dick will restart now in the 13th position. Avila just on his way out of the box. One last time tonight, race fans. You at home, go ahead and crank it up. Oh, almost making contact a little bit further back in the pack. They were 3 wide off of 4.
Bless you, 3 wide now, again going into turn 1.
Andrew Moore Jr. down on the inside. Colton Harvey to the outside. Max Williams, hold on to it. Oh, Harvey, hold on!
Oh,
big contact again.
big hit.
Huge Rick down the back straightaway. Colton Harvey hard into the wall. Max Williams is wrecked as well.
You can see that left front tire just not spinning. It quit, gave up on the day. Nope, that was too big for me. That tire is going to the infield care center, probably along with the driver.
I'll tell you what, though, Max Williams staying out on the racetrack right now. Colton Harvey very quickly down onto the pit lane and get the instant replay queued up here, and let's take a look and see what happened here. Started with Colton Harvey. Man, I don't know how Max Williams is still driving that race car. That was a huge nose-first hit. Left side suspension junk on the 36 machine. As we go back to the live look, and we're down to 17 laps to go. Man alive, this has the potential to be absolutely fantastic late in this race. Tyler Seville got a little bit skunked on the last restart. We'll see if it's going to happen again here. The restart zone is in play, which gives the leader a distinct advantage here. As opposed to the old way of doing the restarts, iRacing is keeping tabs on if the second place driver gets to the throttle before the leader does.
Yeah, because then you got to check up. And when the guy in front checks up, it's like you're driving down the highway, especially when you're driving through Virginia. And one guy at mile marker 10 hits the brakes, and maybe the guy behind him just taps the brakes, and that goes on. By the time you get the mile marker 15, everyone's doing a stop and go, and it's miserable. And except when you do it with race cars with everyone full throttle, you end up with a big crash. Where in Virginia, you just end up frustrated.
Speaking of the Cars Tour race earlier tonight, Carson Quapple picking up the win in the iRacing.com Chevrolet for the Cars Late Model Stock Car Tour. Redneck Jesus came home third. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishing 1.4 seconds off the race leader. Mason Diaz second, Jonathan Schaefer fourth, Bobby McCarty the top 5.
Now, for those of us not familiar with the Cars Tour, Carson Kvapil is a junior motorsports car, correct?
I believe so. Yes, he is the 8th.
Which is kind of cool that Junior Motorsports, even though they seem just like an Xfinity team to everyone, they do field a bunch of teams in lower series, just like JGR. They all have kind of scouts, just like football teams will have scouts go out to the local high schools. They have these kind of development teams, even throughout the lower series, almost all the way to the local level.
Who's it going to be, race fans? Get your picks in the comments. Can Troy Haight hold on? He's led 63 laps tonight. Will Worsler will pick up the bonus point for leading the most laps. Green flag's back in the air. We're underway here with 14 to go. Haight got a good restart. Here comes Hunter Waters looking outside of Tyler Seville into one. How about Will Worsler picking up where he left off? The dominant car of the night already back up to the 6th position and around Andrew Moore Jr. Now he's going honey after Tony Patton. Patton slides up the racetrack in the middle of 2.
There.
Worsler able to clear. He's back in the top 5. Overtime is absolutely a thing here in the Sim Racers Club Premier Series. Don't count out Will Worsler just yet.
Yeah, I said Johnny Vila was going to be the one to make his way to the field, and here we go. Boss man Will Worsler. He is up to 5th. Even if he finishes in 5th, it's still a top 5 night for him in a night where he was wrecked. That just doesn't happen.
By the way, Johnny Avila has made up no ground, currently running in the 10th position. Running where he started tonight. Hunter Waters is now your hard charger of the race, up 13 positions. Tyler Seville up 10. Biggest loser is actually Kevin Dick, running in the 8th position. A little bit of a bobble there for Brad Allison and Tony Patton. So Dick able to pick up a couple of spots. He's now back to -6. Still the biggest loser of the race, and he's running 7th. Eight laps to go at Richmond. Tyler Seville absolutely hounding Troy Haight down the back straightaway. Troy Haight's led an oh-so-nice 69 laps tonight. Will Worsler has led 96. Kevin Dick has led 2. Oh, man, but Seville is right there. Almost got the bumper to him. Here's the dive into turn 1.
Now, this is the hard way to pass. The easy way to pass is, since you're right on the bumper in the straightaway, keep your bumper there until you enter the corner. As soon as the guy in front of you starts braking, you start braking. But you're going to push him ever so slightly up, and he's going to have to correct for that, and you get on right by. I wouldn't recommend that move early in the race. It's kind of mean. But with 7 laps to go, 6 laps to go, fair game. These are stock cars. We got bumpers and fenders for a reason.
And Hunter Waters absolutely chomping at the bit. Oh, blink.
Tyler Seville starting the blink.
Seville has had some connection issues in the past. Oh, they made contact off the corner. Haight bounces it off the outside wall. They're still side by side. Oh, man, big slide for Seville off of turn number 2. Finally going to be able to clear Troy Haight. Tyler Seville is there. Now Hunter Waters wants a piece of the action. Down to 4 to go. Haight going to be able to come back. He should have the time to mount one final charge.
He's got to really save his stuff. And I almost want to say he's got to hope for a caution. Tyler Seville is no amateur in this series. He's one of the most experienced guys in this series as a whole. He's stuck around here, I'd say, probably the longest out of all of these guys. So you're not going to get around him very easily. You got to hope for a caution and hope for a really, really good restart.
Tyler Seville, the current leader in all-time laps led, among active drivers anyway. All-time laps led, I think race wins as well. Seville with a very long history in victory lane and at the front of the Sim Racers Club Premier Series, but it's been quite a while since we've seen the number 11 running this well late in the race. He's only led 3 laps tonight, but he is quicker than Troy Haight, and they're going to see the white flag next time by. 1 to go for Tyler Seville. He is clear by almost a half a second as they hit turn number 1. Troy Haight not going to have much to say here as Tyler Seville works his way through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag will go in the air, and Tyler Seville gets the win at Richmond. Troy Haight coming home second, Hunter Waters third. Amazing recovery drive for Will Worsler up to the 4th position, and Andrew Moore Jr. will round out your top 5. Moore was down in 12th or 13th position with 45 laps to go. But Tyler Seville will be the man of the hour, picking up the win here at Richmond. Doing the donuts here on the front straightaway, and while the Will Worsler Racing team gets ready to have the mosh pit party here on the front stretch, let's show you tonight's race results. Tyler Seville, the winner by a half second over Troy Haight. Hunter Waters, Will Worsler, Andrew Moore round out the top 5. AJ Digby, Kevin Dick, Tony Patton, Johnny Avila, and Brad Allison, your top 10. Thomas Wilhite, John Moeller, and Max Williams, the final cars to finish on the lead lap. 14th going to belong to Colton Harvey, Richard Fletcher, Tim Knott, and Corbin Simmons will round out the field.
Almost feels dirty to watch this. I can't even commentate on this. I mean, like, what a pounder from Will Worsler. I can't go further than that.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Tyler Seville going to make his way to Richmond Raceway victory lane. Apparently, Johnny Avila is going to chase him all the way there in reverse, too. Absolutely love the party. Love the party that these guys throw. There you go. Junk up the race-winning race car. That's how you do it.
Yeah, this way it can't be teched.
That is correct.
Taking the JGR strategy. I like it.
Well, that was the Rusty Wallace strategy for years in the late 80s. Every time he won, he jumped up and down on the top of the race car. NASCAR got a little smart, told him to knock it off. Absolutely fantastic drive tonight from Tyler Seville. Oh, wow. Johnny Avila getting aggressive.
Yeah, really. I was going to make a pickle joke. I'm going to refrain myself. Banging into the side of Hunter Waters.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you for not getting us in trouble with the FCC or something. Time now to go to victory lane. Let's pick up our race winner tonight here, Mr. Tyler Seville. And, man, I'll tell you what, but what was more fun, the party afterwards or, well, the party that's still ongoing, I guess, or picking up your first win in a little while here?
I mean, anytime that we're able to do a victory lane celebration like this, it's pretty awesome. They're a great group of guys.
We talked to you last week saying that you were getting the season off on the right foot. Definitely the way you wanted to start things. Week 2, picking up a victory. This has to be a huge bit of momentum here as we head into the off week.
Yeah, for sure. Especially at a track like Richmond. I knew I was pretty confident in my long run speed, but short run speed, I didn't know what to expect, and I really didn't think I had anything for Troy or even Will there until he ran into problems. Yeah, great racing, Troy. I'm glad I was able to eke this one out.
Well, tell us about the tire wear situation, because it seemed like you guys did a fantastic job of backing up and saving stuff, your tires, and then we get that caution with 30 to go. Was it kind of like, man, we had them here, and then you have to battle Troy again with everybody on fresh Goodyears?
Yeah, right before that caution with about 30 to go, I felt like Troy had started to come back towards Will and I there a little bit. But the way I do this, there are people that dive into the corners. I really like to back up the corner, especially turn one. And so I adjust my brake bias accordingly, and it really allows me to save my rear tires. And after you get like 30 to 40 laps on a run, I have some pretty good speed, especially on that first run. I drove from like 12th up to 2nd there until the lap 90 caution.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, but it was a fantastic drive for you tonight here. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, shout out to Huntington, my sponsor there, and then shout out to all my teammates. I think we all had a pretty good run at various stages. A couple people ran into some problems. So, yeah, shout out to all my teammates.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And let's get ready to talk to our runner-up finisher here tonight. That would be the 28 of Mr. Troy Haight. I'll tell you what, bud, a little bit gutted here for you, leading 72 laps by the time all was said and done, ultimately coming home with a very strong second-place finish. Congratulations on it, man. That was a hard-earned podium finish.
Yeah, I thought I had it, but I think the cautions kind of messed me up there at the end. I didn't get a good enough jump on that last restart.
Yeah, that seemed like it was going that it was the key all night. Excuse me, was the ability to get the big jump off the restart. What was the difference there in that final restart? Just a little bit of wheel spin, or just quite frankly a better guess by Tyler?
Yeah, I think Tyler just got a decent start there and could stay with me, and I fought on the outside there, but he finally cleared me, and that was it.
Well, I tell you what, bud, you had a fantastic night tonight. Congratulations on the runner-up finish here. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in. That is a beautiful number 28 machine.
Yeah, thanks to Jordan Berry painted that car, so thanks to him.
I love the wood grain. It reminds me like an old Ford or an old Mercury.
Yeah. I want to thank my dad for always supporting me with, the racing stuff, and friends and family, friends and family. You guys up in the broadcast booth.
All right, bud. Well,
that's about it, yeah.
All right, bud. Well, yeah, we appreciate you checking in with us here. Thanks for taking a little bit of time out here tonight. And, man, I'll tell you what. That was it was a great run for Troy, a good run for this guy as well. Third place finisher here tonight. Mr. Hunter Walters, we call him the fastest pickle in the South. Hunter's Fried Pickles on the side of that number 7 machine. And Hunter, congratulations. It was a hard-fought third place finish. You were up, you were down, and ultimately the hard charger of the race. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Tyler and I were just actually making a joke about that. He thought he was going to get hard charger, and then I somehow found myself in third and took it. But I'd trade him this for the win, so just to throw that trade out on the table, that is out there.
Yes, something tells me Sam and the Jordans will not let that one happen. But, man, I'll tell you what, this was a night that it was hard to pass. It was hard to keep the car clean. Tell us, how did you manage to work your way through to the front? Was it just allowing some of the other mistakes to happen in front of you, or what was kind of how did you work your way quickly through the field?
I didn't feel quick, that's for sure. I didn't have any practice at all coming into this. I'm not really a great short track racer anyway, so I got into the practice to do some laps about 5 to 10 minutes beforehand, and screwed up both my qualifying laps, so just was, going to take it easy, just try to use the first half of the race to learn, use my tires up a little bit too much, found a better balance, better brake bias and everything. That kind of allowed me to have the speed up at the front, and then honestly just got lucky with the incident with Johnny, Will, and I believe Kevin Dick. Unfortunate, obviously, for all of them. Will, arguably had the fastest car of the race and maybe deserved to win, but just gotta take what you get.
Well, take them where you can get them. That's for sure. And man,
Right.
it was a fantastic drive for you tonight. Congratulations on the podium finish. And before we let you go, get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, got to shout out you guys up in the booth. Great broadcast every week. Obviously, Sam and Jordan, fantastic admins. Can't wait to see some of the penalty reviews and watch that Johnny incident again. Not often you see him make a mistake, so not to laugh too much at him, but it's nice to know he's human. And definitely, shout out Law Chevrolet, shout out Will Worsler Racing, everybody in there. They're a great group of guys, and I use them a lot to learn during this race, just paying attention to AJ and Tyler, kind of what they were talking about for a long run. So it's just nice to be surrounded by a group of guys who know what they're doing.
All right, Hunter. Well, thank you much, bud. We appreciate you checking in with us here. And as we go back to the live look here, Patrick, man, this one was fun. Richmond, sometimes it's either hit or miss to me. You either get a great race or you get it was okay. This was a pretty darn good show tonight.
I'll be a little more blunt than you. I'll say Richmond either sucks or it's fantastic. And I'd say this was a fantastic one.
Yeah, it was a good show tonight. Tyler Seville only leading the last 5 laps of this race over Troy Haight, who led 72. Will Worsler coming home 4th, led 96 laps. Ultimately, the contact after Johnny Avila's little overcooked slide job gone wrong into turn 1 knocked him well back in the field. Worsler able to drive through back up to the 4th position. Good run for Hunter Waters in 3rd. Andrew Moore Jr., again, quietly inside the top 5. This has the potential to be a lot of fun as we get down. The deeper we get into this fall season, it's not like it's Johnny Avila or Tyler Seville. We've got a handful of drivers now that really could contend for this championship.
Yeah, this second half of the season could be really, really fun, especially once we get to the later rounds. There could still be 10 cars in the fight, which is something you don't usually see, but with the way this is going, I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for sure. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. Coming up tomorrow night, the High Side Hustle with Burt Wojcik and Adam Rubright returns. Guy who is absolutely on fire in the 410 sprint car world, Justin Peck, will be joining us, getting ready to preview Tuscarora 50 weekend up there at the Port Royal Speedway. Obviously going to talk about the news of Grandview Speedway likely being sold to Copart, a company I am beginning to despise more and more by the day.
They took my Honda from me.
Well, they took your Honda. They also took away Atco in Englishtown and
No,
Texas
Atco's
World
still
Speedway. Or I'm sorry, Englishtown and
I was going to say,
there was another one.
My day job, we have the record for H-Stock Eliminator, not only throughout the entire NHRA, but at Atco. And we scored that earlier this year.
That's awesome. But yeah, so they're buying up racetracks and turning them into junkyards. Not cool.
They've got Nazareth too, right?
No, Nazareth is still very much there, but unusable. But anyway, we'll be talking about that as well. And a whole lot, obviously, else going on in the world of dirt track racing. Don't want to miss that. 7 o'clock in the East tomorrow night. Then will be 10:15 in the East. The Indy Pro 2000 Championship wraps up 2022 Season 3. It's already to the fall/winter season. I don't know how. But it'll be the 5 laps of the Nordschleife. 154 corners or whatever it is of green hell coming up tomorrow night.
I believe it's 173. I know it's in the 170s.
That's ridiculous. Maybe we'll get Wes Shire to help us, because I can't. My German's not good. All right, everybody, we're getting out of here. For Patrick Byrne and everybody here at the National Racing Network who makes these broadcasts happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.